Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Welcome back to another stream on the channel. Sunday kickoff for the first time in a while, but as always, we're here today for the match preview, predicted lineup, and all the build-up for Manchester United versus Leicester City tomorrow in another big Premier League game. And some very interesting results today in the Premier League as well. But yeah, as always, drop a like on the stream just so we get started. Get involved in the chat. And yeah, we're going to be breaking down the tactics, the Manchester United side of things, and what type of game we can expect tomorrow at Old Trafford. But yeah, firstly, I'm confident that we can go there and get a result initially. Obviously, granted, it's going to be a difficult game, as you can see on the slider. Cam and Leicester make it 3 wins in a row. Manchester United have only lost 1 game in the league at home this year in the Premier League, and that was against Brighton in the first game. So yeah, obviously it's going to be a difficult game, but you know, based on our recent form, I think we can go there and look to pick up at least a point, and although if not, put in a solid performance. But yeah, let's get into the chat then. As always, there's a few people to put some things in already, so keep it going, boys and girls. But yeah, Ethan's in it at 6:30. Bloody hell. Let's agree, Newcastle are a dead team about Bruno. Nick put out the Carabao. Yeah, I know it was a weird game, weren't it though? Because I thought Newcastle didn't play too bad with 10 men, but yeah, when they had 11 in the first 25 minutes, it looked awful. But yeah, Newcastle have fallen off a lot. I think it's 1 win in 7, which is pretty mad considering the form they were in, particularly before the World Cup. But yeah, gotta say, I'm happy to see it because I don't really like them. Aston Villa, yeah, I 100% agree with that one. Although their fans will still tell you we're going to get Europe or something. But yeah, and tomorrow will be difficult, but hopefully we can get a result. Yeah, I think it's obvious that the game is going to be a difficult one. United are on very good form. We'll discuss Manchester United a bit later. Obviously, they come into the game full of confidence. A good result in midweek as well in the Europa League against Barcelona. So, you know, they'll be bringing confidence in to the game as well. But I think, you know, that game against Barcelona can benefit Leicester in a small way, which we'll talk about a bit later. But yeah, quite funny. Yeah, I know. I saw that. It was the exact same kind of the exact same pattern as the Leicester game. But hello, Jerry. Mate, I hope you're doing all right. Madders will score. Kelechi 2-2 victory. I'll take that. Or 2-2. Hello, Leicester edits as well. But yeah, I think initially you guys are kind of agreed. We all realise that it's going to be a difficult game. If you are going to get something, Leicester going to have to be top game, top performance, going to have to be as good as the Tottenham game, really, and we need to go there. But most importantly, I think Leicester need to go there and, you know, play our game, because there's no point trying to sit back and soak up the pressure, because they've got players like Rashford, Bruno, Sancho. I think Wout Weghorst, whatever his name is, could do a good job against us as well. So yeah, it's going to be difficult then. But yeah, as always, we kind of start things off by looking at the potential lineups for the game then. So this is the last 2 lineups from Manchester United's last game, I believe, against Leeds United. And obviously this was a team which started for Leicester against Tottenham. And overall, I can see this pretty much being the teams which start the game. Leicester, I don't really see there's much point of any changes. As we know, Ricardo Pereira is back in contention, has travelled with the squad. Also got players like Samare, Johnny Evans edging back closer. But I don't know. Obviously, there's no Mendy on here. I think this is a predicted one. But yeah, it's pretty much going to be similar. And that's a question I'm going to put to you guys in the chat right now. Does Mendy keep his place? Does Tielemans come in? Or does someone like Dewsbury drop out? Let me know your thoughts. Do we make any changes to the team which started against Tottenham? Because personally, I probably wouldn't. But obviously, there is the temptation there with someone like Tielemans to come in, who's obviously a very decent player. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the chat. Changes to the team, or do we keep it the exact same, which obviously started and performed very well against Tottenham last weekend on Saturday at the King Power? But yeah, let's go up. Bro changes profile. I know that the profile pictures are beautiful in the chat, boys. I'm liking it. Let's have some limbs in the away end, Josh. I want to see, hopefully so, mate. It'll be a good away end. Got to be honest, I'm going 3 on United. Castagna own goal. Jeez, Rashford, Fred, and Fernandes for us, yeah. Got to keep Mendy based on the Spurs game being at the ground. Mendy was incredible, other than those 2 dodgy passes. Yeah, I think I agree, to be fair. If it wasn't Man United, if it was like, I don't know, Bournemouth or Wolves, I'd probably say maybe put Tielemans back in, because we're likely to have a bit more of the ball. And don't get me wrong, Mendy's solid on the ball. He's decent, but I think obviously Tielemans is that slight level above. And, you know, on his day, Tielemans can rip teams apart with those key passes in behind. But yeah, I think lineup-wise, it's going to be quite similar. As we know from Manchester United, there's going to be no Casemiro. Yeah, this is the right one. There's going to be no Casemiro, which is going to be key. So it looks likely that it could be a midfield two, a pivot of Fred and Marcel Sabitzer, which I think we can get at. I think people underestimate Fred's. I think Fred's an all right player. Sabitzer's quite decent as well. But, if we can get in there, play Madison around here, I really think we can get at that back line, which, looks like big Harry Maguire could be playing as well. But obviously, injury-wise, United, no Van der Beek, no Ericsson. Martial, Anthony are doubtful. Obviously, Casemiro is 100% out. He's suspended. And you also got McTominay, who could be involved as well for Leicester. Justin and Bertrand, obviously being the main two out. Bertrand is back in training. Samari and Evans potentially back in the team as well. So, we are, we are getting closer to full strength. We'll discuss the press conference a bit later. But, apart from Justin, we've pretty much got the full squad now to pick from. So, it's looking strong, but hopefully we can end the season well. Don't pick up any more big injuries and, look to finish strong. But, there's still an area to worry about, I think, with league position. I can't lie, Wolf has been really 100%. He's brilliant. And that's the thing. I just asked that question about who comes in. I didn't even mention him, did it? And, if you said that a few years ago, you would have been crazy because, Diddy, like 3 years ago, was probably one of our most important players, if not the most, because, he was the glue. And since his injuries, he's just hasn't really been the same. So, yeah, I think it's quite mad to see. I think, obviously, Ndidi's back in contention as well. But you got players like Samare, who, this year, in my opinion, Samare has been far better than Wilfred and Diddy. I don't think Wolves had a consistent game time, really. So, yeah, I think that midfield area is going to be key. I think defensively it's pretty set in stone. I think, obviously, Danny Ward in goal. You can have Castagna at right back. The two centre backs are like Faz and Harry Souttar. Left back will probably be Christensen, as always. And then the front three is probably going to be quite similar as well. Barnes, Kelechi and Tete. I think it would be crazy to drop someone like Ian Acho. It would be suicidal, to be fair. So, yeah, I think someone like I think this is going to be quite similar because I say this quite a lot. There's no point in changing something which isn't broken. So I think we keep the exact same team, but obviously tweak it throughout the game. Five subs available. Use them. Tillemans, Samare, fresh legs across the pitch. I was going to say Perez. Obviously he's gone, hasn't he? Obviously you have Daka, Vardy on the bench as well. That sort of thing. So yeah, of course Leicester have got options. Leicester Fox, how are we doing? We're not too bad, mate. We're not too bad. Hopefully you're doing all right as well. But yeah, early start tomorrow as well, boys, for United away. But yeah, I just mentioned it a minute ago. We're going to look at a league position. Obviously, that's the injuries. But yeah, some very interesting results today. I don't want to sound negative. Quite close. West Ham are into the relegation zone, which is crazy. Obviously, Bournemouth picked up a win against Wolves. Everton picked up a win against Leeds. Southampton won as well against Chelsea. Forest somehow got a point against Man City. So, yeah, I fully back Leicester to stay up, obviously, but the results today haven't really gone away. And thank God we got those points from Villa and Tottenham, because if not, we would be right down here. Because obviously it's very close. But yeah, I think if Leicester can get 3 points tomorrow, which would be massive. Obviously that takes them to 12, makes it a lot more comfortable. And interestingly enough, our away showing this year hasn't been too bad. We sit 9th on the away league table, Southampton 11th, which is crazy. But yeah, so far this year, we've been pretty decent away from home in a top 10. And of course, our home form has really been letting us down. 19th on home form, which is mad. So yeah, I think away from home, obviously, we have been much superior so far this year. And hopefully we can keep that going. But yeah, in the past, Leicester haven't really travelled well to Old Trafford at all. But yeah, Ward Martinez, yeah, it was so. I don't really like Arsenal, but it was so nice seeing that ball bounce off that and into the back of the net. So lovely stuff. But yeah, let's take a quick look at our opponents then for the game. Obviously, we have discussed a bit about the Manchester United lineup, as we all know. Casemiro is missing, which is key. But yeah, these lot are on some good form, and they have some big games ahead of them as well. So yeah, these are the last 4 games. Obviously, beating Crystal Palace, draw against Leeds Old Trafford, which wasn't fantastic. Then they beat Leeds last weekend, and obviously they picked up a draw in the playoff game against Barcelona in the Europa League. But interestingly enough for me, Leicester's this game in the middle of a second leg in the Europa League and also the Carabao Cup final. So realistically, this game to Manchester United isn't going to mean as much. Obviously, it's still important because, as we know, they can really close the gap up to Arsenal, Man City, who of course dropped points in the last couple of weeks as well. So, a win for Manchester United would be massive, really. It will take them 3 points by Man City, 4 behind Arsenal. So it's still an important game, but realistically, United's main focus is going to be getting past Barcelona and beating Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final. So I think Leicester, if there was ever a chance to beat Manchester United away, this is the chance. I really think so. So I think, there's a big opportunity for Leicester to go there. We're full of confidence. And, I'm quite confident that we can go out there and get a result. But the main thing is, I just want to see us put in another good performance because, if Leicester put in a good performance and United play well, I think we will lose because it's the truth of it. Manchester United are on very good form right now. They've got obvious threats in the likes of Rashford, who I think is going to cook Castagna alive. So we need to be careful of that one. Players like Bruno Fernandes, Sancho, who's decent on his day. Obviously, a bit inconsistent. Players like Garnacho as well. So, yeah, despite United missing likes like Casemiro, they've still got a good pivot in Fred and Sabitzer, who obviously isn't fantastic, but he can still do a decent job. So we need to go there and be on our A game. Remember 2019-20? I know, it was mad, wasn't it? Even the year after, it was even better, wasn't it? But obviously, that was in lockdown. We're really good away, solid at home, but away was our strong point. Yeah, I think away from home, there's a bit more freedom and maybe a bit. I think at home, Leicester do struggle a bit if we don't get like an early goal or something. I don't know, really. It's just, home this year's been a bit weird, hasn't it? We've either really been really good or really, really bad. Man United and Arsenal will be tough. Blackburn easy. They got last minute winner today. Saints will be tough. Yeah, I think we should talk about Southampton a bit later because obviously they've just appointed. They haven't actually. I don't think they've appointed a new manager. I think it's like the assistant coach or something. But yeah, he's coming and they've gone to Chelsea and bloody won 1-0 somehow. James Ward-Prowse with a free kick as always. But yeah, and that's what I mean. I said this since the World Cup ended. It's been some crazy results, absolutely crazy. Anyone can beat anyone. I know everyone says that about the Premier League, but first half of the season, it wasn't as much of the case. But now, anything could happen. So Leicester still need to watch out. Obviously, those wins against Villa and Tottenham, absolutely massive for us. Our next game after Manchester United, to be fair, I'm not really. I think we could get. I really think Leicester can get at Arsenal because yes, they beat Villa today 4-2, which I don't think 4-2 really represents the game. I think probably a draw was about right. Aston Villa had some good chances. Arsenal obviously did well. Fair play to them. It was could say a champions win. So, but I really think Leicester can cause Arsenal a few problems. And yes, we've got these tough games, but we've gone to Villa Park and won. Same as Arsenal, really. We smashed Tottenham 4-1 at home, where they were in fantastic form, beating Man City the game before. So there's no reason why Leicester can't go to Man U tomorrow, play well, pick up at least a point maybe, and come back home to Arsenal and try and do the same. So to be fair, I think second half they were better, but I think first half I think Arsenal do look a bit cagey defensively. Not cagey. I think they look a bit loose defensively. I think you can get them, and Villa caused some serious issues. I think Villa scored some decent goals. They hit the ball, like I said, in the second half through Bailey. So yeah, I really think Leicester can go there. Obviously, Arsenal, I've got the attacking threat in Odegaard, Saka, etc. But yeah, I reckon Leicester can get some goals against them. So yeah, to be fair, knowing as the game against Chelsea will probably be the game where Chelsea actually hit some form and win. But yeah, let's move on then to some press conference news. Just before we do, though, we have got, I won't really call it transfer news, but some contract news around James Maddison. Obviously, this was about Wednesday or Tuesday, so I'm a bit far beyond on this one. But yeah, John Percy, very reliable source. LCFC have this week restarted contract talks with James Maddison. Early in negotiations, but with Maddison having less than 18 months on his contract, on his current deal, the situation is regarded as a priority. So there we go, Leicester. I wouldn't say started the negotiations. I think they've been ongoing for a while. But yeah, Leicester are looking to obviously tie Maddison up for another contract, which is massive, really, because as we know, James Maddison is our best player right now by an absolute country mile. And if we were to lose him in this summer, it would be catastrophic, really, especially if Tielemans goes, which is probably going to be the case. Let me know in the chat, boys and girls. What are we thinking? I think it's obvious we all want James Maddison to stay on, but how much money do you think Leicester are going to be likely to offer Maddison? And what type of contract length, if at all? But yeah, it's tough. It's really interesting. I think Maddison's going to have obvious interest in the summer. We've already seen Newcastle, Man City, Man United have been interested. I think Tottenham have been shouting around him as well. So yeah, we obviously we need to be careful. I think we do need to prepare ourselves for James Maddison to leave in the summer because there's a high chance of it happening. But I think if Leicester can't end the season off well, give him a massive contract extension. Maybe I mean massive in the sense loads of money, and maybe just for a year, it'll just help us out massively. So that's my thoughts on it. But let me know in the chat. He shouldn't want to go to Newcastle. Why would he? I think, but having, it's. I think if there's any place he's going to go, it probably is going to be Man City, and I'd rather him go to Man City. To be fair, because I don't really like Newcastle and Man City. He's going to win trophies. He's going to play. I don't know. Is he going to win trophies? I don't know now, but yeah, he's going to play in the Champions League, etc. So and at the end of the day, they are doing what they did a year or two ago. If anything achieved less, won the FA Cup and did it really. But yeah, it's exactly that. And I think Newcastle are always going to fall off eventually. We see loads of teams do it. People talk about Newcastle, but you got Fulham who are almost catching up to them as well. So yeah, I think Newcastle are always going to fall off. It's just a case of it is Jerry, yeah, and I appreciate it. It's all right there. It's all right there, boys and girls. We love it. But yeah, the last 6 or 7 comments from Jerry. Big up to Jerry. But yeah, I think on Maddison, it's one of them really. It's similar to Tillemans. I don't think any of us would really blame Maddison for leaving because he's to be fair, he probably is too good for us to be fair, and he could probably get a better career. And it's one of them things really. You have to look at the player itself. James Maddison's been at Leicester for what is it, 3-4 years now, and he's it's about time he maybe does want to move on. So it's one of them really. He's reaching his prime, and I think he could play for a much better team. He could play at a high level and surrounded with better players. But obviously, we would love it if Maddison could stay for a few more years and really help us. But yeah, I think it's all part of the summer rebuild really, and keeping hold of some players just like that is going to be key. We've seen some links around Daka to Galatasaray, which I don't think will happen. But yeah, I think obviously Tillemans is going to move on. So. And if it weren't for Tillemans going, I wouldn't be as concerned because I just think losing Maddison and Tillemans in one window is a bit, you know what I mean? It's one of them. It's a sticky one still. But yeah, as I mentioned, we're gonna have a quick look at the press conference news. I've quickly touched on it a little bit, but yeah, let's have a quick look at the press conference news from the press conference, obviously at Seagrove on Friday. I think it was. Yeah. Brendan Rodgers confirms that Yuri and Samari have trained are available for the game for the weekend, as we know, which is beautiful stuff. James Maddison has trained well. Fantastic news. Johnny Evans is still, as always. So, yeah, I don't think Johnny Evans is going to play much more, really. On Maddison, he was asked about the contract talks. It's a conversation we've been having with his representatives for a while. So nothing's changed there for me. It's about making sure he's playing at the best level he can. And thankfully, he's doing just that. So, yeah, speak openly with players, especially the situation we're in with the whole host of players out of contract soon. The connection between the player and the manager is very important. So yeah, ongoing conversations between the players who are interested in new contracts. And Brennan said he won't be begging players to stay. This is a great club, great facilities, and they have to understand that it's a short career, so understand. Yeah, and I think Brendan's spot on with that right there as well. So yeah, and there's a bit more on the game there, which we don't really need to look at. So there we go then, boys and girls. We have got a bit of injury news, a bit of contract news as well. I think the Maddison contract we'll probably know a bit more about in the next couple of weeks, but it's obvious that it's an ongoing thing. So yeah, too high wages and too high wages. I think, to be fair though, I would personally break the wage structure. To be fair, I really would. Need Vestergaard and Bertrand to get ASAP. Yeah, and 100%. I don't know about you guys, but to keep Maddison for another year or two, personally, I would be happy to break the wage structure, which obviously could cause some issues. But I think that the benefits of keeping Maddison compared to that just outweighs it. So, and I think for Leicester to kind of progress as a club, maybe we do need to break the wage structure a bit because I think it's very fluctuated with some of the players who are on and it's quite low down. And I think obviously players money's not everything, but money obviously has an impact as well. So I've said it for a while now, but I think Joe Gomez would be a good signing for Leicester. But to be fair, we're not doing the. I'd disagree. To be fair, I think if he said that in 2019-20, I would have snapped your hand off. But I know he played it. I think he played today. I think he looked alright, but I don't think did he. I don't know, but I think recent performances, he's been a bit dodgy defensively. So yeah, maybe if we get him on a cheap potentially, but probably not. Obviously, anyone's better. Anyone's better than Martinez. Absolute penalty. He's a penalty merchant, boys. Penalty merchant. I'm telling you. Danny Wood clear. Also saw stuff about connection with joining Man United in the summer as a need a striker, and he has Prem experience. Still only 26. I don't think he'll go there. I don't know. Obviously, he used to play for Man City. I don't think that's big for Ian actually, but I don't think so. But that's the thing, though. If Ian Acho, suddenly gets dropped and doesn't play as many games, he's probably going to want to leave. So we need to be careful really because this summer is going to be crazy, and we all thought that last year, but this summer's guaranteed really because we know Tillemans are going to leave. We know James Maddison's going to be probably going to leave. So stuff is going to have to happen, and we need to be acting quickly. And hopefully, if we can replicate the business we've done in January with a few more players, we'll be fine. So, and that's what we need to do. And I fully back I fully back Brendan, the club, the recruitment staff to pick out the right players. So need Daka to start firing too? Yeah, it's a good question. To be fair, it weren't a question, was it? But I was going to say, what would you guys do about Daka? Because I don't know, really. This year he hasn't really cut it for me at all. He's been alright in parts, but I think he started the season off all right, scored a few goals, but apart from that, he just doesn't look. He's been in the Premier League now for like 18 months. He's not really. I don't know. I don't know if it's a case of adapting to the Premier League, but I just don't know. I can't work it out with Daka. He's really, his last few games he played, he's not been doing anything really. He can't really dribble. He can't really pass. He just looks like a bit of a mess right now. So yeah, I don't know about Daka. I love him, but I just don't know. I don't really know if he has a future with us really because I think by now I would have wanted to see Daka to start hitting the ground running a bit more, playing a bit more consistently, scored a few more goals. And I know his minutes have been limited, but you can't really blame Brendan for that really because, when he has played, he hasn't really done too much. Don't get me wrong, he's played it right now and again, but yeah, I just think Daka needs to be a bit more consistent. But I don't want to write Daka off just yet. I'd give him to the end of the season, but if he comes back in and does the same again and doesn't really do anything in a positive way, I would maybe think about letting him go in the summer just to free up the wage bill a bit and get some money in because yeah, I just think he's going to be a player who's just going to be sat there as a second choice striker and not really doing much considering how much we paid for him. So that's my personal opinions on him. Jerry's coming in, give him half the season to December. Then perhaps a loan. Yeah, mate. I don't know about a loan. He's still quite young though, any really. Only so yeah, it's exactly that. It's that fine balance of giving players time, which yes, he may need a bit more time. Obviously, the Premier League is a bit different to the flipping Austrian league, but yeah, he seemed to settle in quite well. To be fair, he obviously scored on his first Premier League. Was it his first Premier League start against United? He came off the bench appearance, and obviously he had that crazy game against Moscow. And we did all right in the Europa League last year in the group stage. He scored against Legia Warsaw, scored that one against Napoli, which was disallowed. But he's done all right. But it's just interesting. He played well against Forest, scored against Brighton this year, but yeah, he seems to be quite inconsistent. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, Newcastle were awful in the first 20. To be fair, it's weird. It's a proper weird game because Newcastle were creating chances. So Maximum was causing them a load of issues, and Liverpool got two decent goals on the counter. Obviously, Pope got the red card, and then Newcastle was quite even after that. Newcastle had a few chances. Liverpool were dominated towards the end, but yeah, it's a proper weird one, really. But yeah, I think that can be said about quite a lot of the games this week. It's been crazy, really. Bournemouth beating Wolves, which I actually was going to go to that game in the Bournemouth away end, which would have been an interesting one, but I decided to stay at home and save some money. And obviously, the Villa Arsenal game was crazy. Forest getting a flipping point against Man City with one shot with the Chris Wood, typical. And yeah, Premier League classic, really. But yeah, just before we wrap up, then, boys and girls, we talked tactics, we talked about the press conferences. As we always wrap things up, score predictions, people in the chat, let me know. 16 people in here. Come on. Let me know, boys and girls, what are we thinking? Josh, Tillerman's word to leave. Who do you think will be the best replacement? Whew. Jerry saying Ward Prowse, which, yeah, I don't think he would come to us, though. I would have said, I don't know, Hassan Mawar is one. I want to say realistic, but is Hassan Mawar the answer? I don't really know. Yeah, Ward Prowse would be a good shout. I know he was linked to Villa only a few years ago, but I don't know. I reckon Ward Prowse may want to do a bit more of a step up, but you know, Southampton get relegated, that could be the case. But yeah, hope Rashford gets an injury. Wow, 2-2 draw. Yeah, I think I agree with something like that. There's definitely going to get goals, really, isn't there? Has to be goals. I can't see this being 0-0. Two defenses who, you know, are improving but still look a bit, you know, shaky towards the back. I think Leicester could look to press the hair quite hardy as well, win the ball high up the pitch as well. But yet again, two attacks who have been on fire recently. Obviously, the key men, obviously Maddison and Rashford, but you know, you got players around them who can cause issues as well. You got obviously Kelechi for us. You got lots of Fernandes for Manchester United as well. So yeah, it's going to be a really good game. I think it will be. For me, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to agree. 2-2. I reckon it's going to be 2-2 tomorrow. I really think there's going to be goals. So yeah, I say 2-2. I reckon Rashford will get one. Weghorst will score. I'm telling you right now. And then I'll say for Leicester, Maddison will score, and I'll go with a cheeky Root Faz goal. I always say him to score. He never does, but right net, and we'll be fine. We need big 3 points. We definitely could do with 3 points indeed. But I think, you know, if we can walk out of Old Trafford tomorrow, come 4 o'clock, 1 point in the bag, I'd definitely take that. But, you know, 3 points would obviously be absolutely beautiful stuff. But yeah, boys, score predictions. Come on. Only one person said it. What are we thinking? Wins, draws, L's? I don't know. Let us know. But you know, I think we have the right to be confident tomorrow, and you know, if Leicester can make a fast start, put Manchester United on the back foot, I think we'll be fine. But the only thing with me is, if Manchester United get a goal inside 10 minutes, which you know has been the case in the last 2 games, Leicester-ish, I think we will be struggling because United's record when going in front at home is actually pretty solid as well. So we need to be careful on that front. But you know, if Leicester do go 1-0 down, we need to be straight back and you know get that equaliser as quick as possible. So yeah, 4-2 to Leicester after going 2-0 down. Jesus, and then come back. Kelechi hat trick was a Tete goal. Wow, that would be a crazy game. But yeah, I'll definitely take it. Imagine that 2-0 down to win 4-2 in actual hat trick. That would be some away day, wouldn't it? But I respect the confidence. 4-2 again. I know it won't happen. You might do. 5-3, 3-1. Oh yeah, boo! It's all right though. Fair enough. It's realistic. But yeah, it's tough to really predict there, isn't it? It really could go either way because. But for me, just like I said earlier on, this is a great chance of getting a result. United, no Casemiro. They just played Barcelona on Thursday. They got Barcelona again on Thursday. They got a cup final the weekend after. So, you know, it's obvious the focus will be on this game, obviously. But, you know, in the back of their minds, there might be a bit of thinking around Barcelona and then the Carabao Cup final Sunday against Newcastle United. But, yeah, boys and girls, that is where we're going to wrap up tonight's show. Hope you have all enjoyed it. If you have, just for your head off, go and drop a cheeky like. If you want Leicester to win tomorrow, drop a like. If not, we're going to lose. So you know what to do. But yeah, subscribe if you're new. I'm sure most of you guys already are. But yeah, obviously I will be there tomorrow. So the Match Day vlog will be out tomorrow night, probably about 10 o'clock. I'm getting a late train back, so it will be a bit of a late one. But yeah, hopefully it can be a good away day. If you go and have a good one as well, and hope to see you guys in there as well, boys and girls. But yeah, lots of content on the way. Match the vlog tomorrow night, and Monday we'll be doing a live stream doing a reaction from the game. I've got a week off college as well, so I can get a few bits of content done for you boys and girls. But yeah, there we go. Thank you for you boys for coming in. Thanks for getting involved in the chat, and I will see you boys very, very soon in the next video. Hopefully, we can get the W tomorrow up the Leicester, and I'll see you boys later. In a bit, boys.